staple of the World Wide Web. So it is week 57 or episode 57 of the Look What I've Been Watching. So quite a big stack. I'll see if I can get this as I kind of give away one of them. So this is it. There's one sealed and I'll explain that one when we get to it. So yeah, anybody who doesn't know, this is myself, where I talk about what I've been watching the past week and I go over it and review it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. And obviously if you see anything, because you see my tastes are very varied, I like a lot of things, please do come back to me and let me know any thoughts or feelings on them, or stuff like you think I might like, because I do have a lot of collection, but there's still a lot I haven't seen and I would like to. So first one, so knocking off the anime list. So this was one of my top 100 anime, so I think it puts me in the 40s now at least, so not quite halfway, but I think in the next few months I should at least break the halfway point. So this is from a famous director, and I can't remember Son. That's Sato-kun Kon, sorry. So this guy who did this did Millennium Princess, Tokyo Godfathers, and then Paprika. Paprika was his third film. He did start to produce a fourth film and unfortunately died of pancreatic cancer. So this movie was hailed to me to basically, it was on the 100 list. I saw it on Blu-ray for £8, but the DVD I got for just over £3, so it is a no bargain as I've not seen it. And it is a very stunning visual movie. The movie is about Paprika, who is kind of a dream state of a person. So this is about a world of DC Mini. So DC Mini is a device that basically you put on your brain and it can basically record your dreams, and you can be, and the whole idea was this device has been tested to share with them, and it is gets to a point where two devices are stolen. One I believe is by Paprika, and there's more to Paprika's character, and then it's basically the cops and the agency trying to discover what happens. But in it, the worlds of dreams and the world of reality get merged together, and it is very, very beautiful. I would say it is very, if you like the kind of anime style from Akira, this would be straight up your street. Obviously it does get a bit trippy because it's the mind and dream states blur into real life and not. It's very safe, but it is a, you know, I did thoroughly enjoy the story and the animation is absolutely beautiful. So lovely to have this and lovely to add it into the anime collection. So one. So two, on a bit of a superhero rant of late, as you would know. So this is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So the third and what is essentially, I think, the final Ant-Man film. And yeah, I mean, when I watched it, it had a lot of problems. Going back, I still saw a lot of the problems. It seemed to be, I think this is the start of phase 4. Like, I think a lot have said, you know, there too much of Kang. Obviously, the multiverse I did enjoy. I know it's a lot of CG heavy, and if you're not into that, I mean, I do. I like movies like Avatar and stuff, so I could appreciate that. I like some of the characters. I must think Michael Douglas very much shines, and I think shines as a small character in this with all his ants, and that is great. That side of things, I just feel there could have been more of a family dynamic based around obviously Stature or Cassie, of her kind of coming into it, and they could have maybe focused, because if you think about like phase 4 and starting into phase 5, there's a lot of movies that tie into the Young Avengers, and I think they should have spent more time working on the Young Avengers, and that should have been where phase 5 did. Phase 5 brings in the Young Avengers, and if you've seen the Young Avengers comic series, or you've read it, you'll know that there is links to Kang in it. I think that would have been quite good to set up an Avengers movie with the kids, kind of then introduce Kang, or be hinting at Kang all the way through it, and then obviously when he's unleashed on the world, it's then down to the adult Avengers, so to speak, to team up with the Young Avengers to get it, and then you kind of have these two teams, and then you can kind of send other people off. I think that would have worked far better. But as I say, it just seems that this series struggled with direction. As I say, like, you know, in a world where Kang is almighty and he gets beat by Ant-Man, it doesn't bode you very well when this is the start of a kind of a new continuation. But glad to have it in the collection. It was only £6. I'm a big comic book fan, so no. So the next one is the final Die Hard movie, so A Good Day to Die Hard. And yeah, this was okay. I mean, when I watched it, I don't think I enjoyed it the first 1 or 2 times I watched it. Watching it again, I appreciated it for what it is. Now, to me, you could kind of take off the bottom bit. It's a good day. I mean, it didn't necessarily feel like a Die Hard movie. It was kind of almost like Jai Courtney was brought on to kind of take over the role of Bruce Willis, but didn't quite work. I mean, I quite liked his character. I think the actor does get a lot of slack. I mean, obviously I think this is a little while after his role in Spartacus, which obviously was only short, but I didn't mind him. I just think maybe the dynamic of having Bruce with his kid, because obviously he had a daughter in the last one or something, I think could have done a bit different. But unfortunately, it is what it is. I know it's not regarded very well, but there we go. So next up, it's kind of a twofer. So we have obviously The Crow. So this is the one I opened, and then we do have the version that I have sealed. This will stay sealed, so this goes there. But I did watch this. By the time this video's out, I would have even seen this at the cinema. So the 1st of June, it is going back to cinemas. I do have a ticket to see it. So obviously when the movie was released, I was 11. And as you can see, it's an 18 rated movie. So I was never old enough to watch it. 30th anniversary comes around. I'm obviously old enough to watch it and definitely going to watch it. 4K, amazing quality, amazing sound. It was surprising how good this version actually was and upscaled previous ones. All the little extra bits that I noticed along the line, but still my favourite movie, and yeah, thoroughly enjoy this version and glad to have it in the collection. So as I was saying, superheroes, we then move on to Thor, Love and Thunder, a kind of mess. Again, I feel this is direction. To me, this is almost 2 to 3 stories merged into one, and that's why it is such a mess. Now, bringing Natalie Portman back as Lady the Mighty Thor, I thought was a really good idea. I think the story should have mainly been about her. Christian Bale's got it. Everybody loves him. I didn't find him that great. He was a god butcher that kidnapped gods. Where the logic is in that, I just think there was too much going on. It needed to be more about Jane, her suffering, and her becoming Thor, then fighting or something, and it could even have obviously the normal Thor in it, and kind of then having a little bit of connection to kind of finish off her story. But I think having the God Butcher in there and this other stuff is just too much conflicting. It's like you're here, like you're there, you're everywhere. You learn about New Valhalla, and yeah, it just so much trying to go on, and sometimes trying to be, as I say, trying to be dark and scary with the God Butcher in it, and then he kidnaps children, which kind of overrides that. And then you've got some bad CG and stuff in there, and obviously having the kids step up to be Thor, which I didn't mind at the end. I quite enjoyed when he gave them their powers, but it wasn't really the tone of what the good God Butcher was. You know, maybe if the kids had been kidnapped by someone else and it was Jane's story, and it was, you know, Jane's whole thing for her to die, you know, building up to her to be such a courageous warrior that she goes to Valhalla. I know she does anyway, but yeah, glad to have it in the collection again. I paid £6 for it. Glad it's a Marvel movie, but it's nowhere near my favourite one. So next one we have is Jack Whitehall. So not a movie or a series, it's a stand-up. So my wife is a big fan of him. She has watched the Education series that he was in. I think this is done just after it. I'm not the biggest fan of his. I do mind his. I don't mind some of the stuff he's been in, and I've never really seen a stand-up. I think I've seen one, maybe with my wife a long time ago. But we watched this, and I found some stuff quite funny. He is a very, can be a very funny character, and I did like that. 90 minutes, and obviously I do find his dad quite funny as well, which obviously he's done a bit with them. But I say, good to have in a collection. You know, I got rid of a lot of comedians, but I think that is something that me and my wife would revisit. And then the final one, which you'll know I probably would have done a podcast about this, but this is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So obviously this is something me and AJ will be discussing, or have been discussed by the time this has been released. So I rewatched, or went back and watched it, because I bought this last year, and I didn't mind it. I did appreciate the art style. Obviously it did have a message at the end of it, and very cheesy, but obviously this came out when I was only like 1 year old, 1 to 2, so obviously I never really grew up with this, and for that, and the animation style I do like, but it's not the greatest. I do appreciate it for what it was at its time, But I still do always I mean, I will possibly try and finish this and get the rest of it, but there's a lot to collect. I mean, but I'm happy just having this, I think, in the collection, because the main one I like is the 2000X, and I have the complete series of that. So, anyway, this has been a look what I've been watching. As you can see, I've watched a lot over the past week. Do you like any of these? Please let me know your thoughts and feelings down in the comments. I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time. Like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.